All lives matter. Yeah, they do. That's not the point. Not at all the point. Um, all lives matter. All diseases matter. All countries matter. All holidays matter. All parents matter. They do. But when it's Christmas, I don't care about 4th of July. When it's the 4th of July, I don't care about, I don't know, Valentine's Day. If I have a heart attack right now, I don't care that you're having knee surgery. All lives matter. Yes, they do. That's obvious. And frankly, what that slogan is, that all lives matter, is intellectual dishonesty. It's psychological laziness. Yes, all lives matter. They absolutely do. That's the point. That is the point. Because right now, what we're trying to say is that Black lives matter too. They matter as well. They're not saying Black lives matter more or that only Black lives matter. They're just trying to say that they just matter.
We can't even agree on Black Lives Matter. That's a controversial statement. Black lives matter. Not matters more than you, just matters. Matters. Just matters. That's where we're starting the negotiations. Matters.
It just blows my mind that people can get so offended at not being the center of attention. And I think ultimately that's what a lot of this really is that we are saying, but what about me? And sometimes we have to have enough human empathy to realize that this moment, this movement isn't about you. It isn't about me. It is about the people who are hurting. I don't go to a hospital and visit a friend who is sick and possibly dying and then point out, well, what about victims of terrorism? I don't comfort a friend who is depressed and possibly suicidal and go, well, what about... You don't do that, because sometimes you just got to shut up and listen. And you got to hear what they're trying to say. Matter. They're not trying to say Black lives dominate or Black lives are better. They're just trying to say matter. Because systemically in this country, since our inception and before, we have shown them time and time and time and time again that they don't. We had to amend the Constitution so that a black man, that a black woman was 5/5 of a person and not just 3/5 of a person. People with my color skin have never faced that in this country, ever. So Black lives matter. All lives matter. No shit. But if you truly believe, if you really believe that all lives matter, then you'll work to make sure that all lives matter. You'll work to say, you're going to show all of those lives that matter. And when people are saying, listen, we're being systemically targeted for injustice, then you stand up with them. And you don't fall back on some comfortable bullshit slogan that essentially does nothing more than say, well, what about me? Because it ain't about you. If all lives really mattered, we wouldn't have tens of thousands of children waiting for adoption. We wouldn't have tens of thousands of children sitting in cages because they are brown. If all lives mattered, we would never have one single person in this entire country die because they can't afford insulin, basic medical care, food. If all lives mattered, as you say they do, you would prove it. So I don't buy your slogan, all lives matter. Not until you prove it. It's one thing to try to promote goodness, wellness, happiness for all people and actually do it. It's an entirely different, an entirely selfish, and an entirely lazy thing to do. To say that and look the other way, or in some instances, actively promote suppression of certain voices or certain lives. If all lives matter, prove it. I'm Chad Rushing.